Hello, and welcome to It's an Artful Life. I'm your host, Jillian Rhodes. This project started with a question: do the arts matter anymore? I decided to start asking people that very question and came up with this project, an experiment on how and if people see and experience the arts in their daily lives. Is it an artful life? Let's find out. There is so much noise around us all the time, from advertisements, phones, notifications, all of that. We're in a constant stream of noise. It's pretty easy in that sense to tune it all out, including art. How many of you don't even notice background music anymore, for example? And yet, if suddenly there was no music, how would you feel? This is one of the big questions we tackle in today's interview, that even though we might be aware of the art around us, in order to truly experience it, we actually need to pay attention and engage with it. To start off, could you just briefly introduce yourself?
So, my name is Michelle Lim. I currently live in Stockholm, Sweden, and I am a service designer, and I'm also a relationships coach on the side.
Wow, okay. Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Hong Kong and I lived in the US for the past 15 years. So those are the cultural contexts that I'm brought up in.
Wow, interesting.
Mm.
Okay, do you participate in the arts at all?
So, yeah, actually, well, growing up, I've taken drawing classes or painting lessons, and my connection to the arts is I was saying that the one constant in my life previously, or not so much now, is dance. And to me, movement is a really big part of my life. And actually it's, yeah, through the body and movement has more and more recently become the way I've learned to maybe like meditate on how I interact with the world and how I process information, as well. So movement, and with that, dance, has been, yeah, it's been a way for me to understand myself, understand how I relate to the world, and it's been my medium for reflection a lot.
Okay. So when you say, dance and movement, through classes, it's like traditional forms, like ballet, contemporary.
So yeah, I started taking ballet classes since I was 3. And then, and I've gone on pretty traditional, like classical ballet training until 18. And then when I went to university, and even throughout my ballet career or ballet track, the part that I really enjoy is a style called free movement, which is, in the curriculum of the Royal Academy of Dancing, which is like came from the British system of ballet. It's a part of that introduces more modern style of dance. So then when I went to college, I started maybe taking also classes, in jazz and doing, partner dancing, like ballroom dancing, more for competition. But then the competitive nature of it took the fun out of dancing for me. So then I stopped for a while, and then, I tried out for a more informal dance group on campus, and then there did a bit of, like, they call it lyrical, which is applying ballet in a more modern contemporary format to pop songs often. And I've also experimented with hip hop, and it was like interesting to then through that experience like the different styles in terms of like center of gravity. And I really love the rhythmic nature of hip hop, and that dance. So, and then after college, when I moved to Chicago, I think dance was in a way, I was feeling really foreign, or feeling out of place in Chicago, and, kind of disconnected from myself. And and there like found a studio where they had drop-in classes of just like you can drop in every Tuesday, and every Tuesday they introduce a new choreography that's a mix of hip hop and lyrical, which was perfect for what I wanted to do. So I did that for a few months and actually did a performance in a mini art gallery. And I remember like walking home one day feeling so completely fulfilled and on a high. And it was like like something clicked in me of, wow, everything I ever wanted. Well, that seems really dramatic, but that like, because I was sort of getting over a breakup or like thinking about my dating life at the time. And I was saying, wow, I am feeling so high right now. And what just happened when I was through dance, I found a vessel where I can pour all my emotions into. And I was like, this feeling is what I'm looking for in relationships. And I'm like, but I don't even need another person for me to feel this way. It's like, this is crazy. And so I think that was, that was to me was the moment of like, wow, okay, like recognizing how important dance is and the role it plays in my life. Not just as a way of expression, but that this need of emotional exploration and it as a tool for me to understand myself, through my expressions.
So would you say that that moment coming home from class in Chicago was most memorable experience of art?
Through my creation of my own art, yes, that would be. Because the other way I hear that question is, as I was also thinking about this for a while, is like, of noticing that, I love arts in many forms, especially performing arts. But I don't often create art myself. So I love immersing myself. So also in Chicago, there's a lot of different, like theater is really huge there. And so a lot of like experimental forms of theater. I've heard a lot of these participatory theater, and I'd love to go to one of them, but I haven't. And I think maybe in a way, the closest thing to participatory theater, kind of, if you can call it that, is Burning Man and the different regional burns. So to me, to me, my most memorable moment of how art has affected me, is there are so many. I don't even know where to begin on like zoning in on one of the moments, but one of the moments where my participation in creation of art, is the story I told you.
Okay, that works. Some people have been able to really like immediately kind of define like this is the moment, and some people like you have been like, I have no idea, there's just too many to choose from. Do you consider yourself an artistic person?
That's so funny. I would say I'm a creative person. And it's interesting that I almost feel not worthy of that title, artistic. Yeah, that's what's coming up. Yeah. There's a piece of like, to me, art, it's somehow creativity includes messiness, and somehow art is beautiful. And if I were to claim that I'm an artistic person, somehow I am setting a bar of quality for myself. That I can competently produce something artistic, which is either really thought out or, the essence of beauty is very clear. Like there's clear expression. Like I would judge a piece of art according to its like coherence and idea, which that in and of itself is beauty. And somehow like art has this inherent quality of beauty and quality. And yeah, and that there's a standard to be achieved that creativity loosens up.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And you're not the only person who's made that distinction. We sort of associate, creativity with messes, but artists can't be messy. So, you've talked about using dance as kind of a way to make sense of your life. I guess this is also kind of along that lines, but so do you think that you experience the arts on a daily basis? So, around you, like right now, and the way you work, and when you wake up in the morning, that kind of stuff.
I love this question. Because the answer is yes, and I just am not seeing it. And I'm going to say, actually, this like touches someplace pretty personal, I'd say, is like, I think, and maybe this is more recently of, people I've been dating, and it's like my intuition is calling, it's like telling me that I want more. So when I turned 30, I told myself, okay, I really want to invite more beauty into my life. And as I say before, like beauty and art is very related to me. And I live in a co-living space, and the people that I've been really appreciating, that really adds, that I've been gravitating towards, are more quote unquote artistic people. So ones who are like who are beautifying the space. Whether it's like buying teacups that are very nicely designed, or, adding a flower in the bathroom, or like lighting a candle. They're really small gestures that just, that creates that beauty. And recently, the guy I was dating, what I really appreciate about him is this attention to beauty and quality, and the way, like visually, and what I really appreciate about my workplace is being around people who, does have that attention to quality and beauty. So do I think I surround myself, do I see art in my everyday life? I think I've been unconsciously curating that and pulling in people around me so that I can experience art in my everyday life. And yet when you ask me that question, that's what I was saying. I know they're there, but my awareness is not tuned to them, so that every day I appreciate the beauty, and make a conscious effort to, not even effort, but like a conscious, make it a conscious part of my everyday. And I wonder how, instead of relying on other people to bring that into my life, that I can begin creating that also. Whether it's like in the way I dress, or also, makeup. Like I have this whole thing with myself of what if I were a piece of art? So that's what it led me to. So that was my long answer to your question.
That's okay. So the next couple questions are more kind of theoretical. They're more kind of in the thought experiment realm. But you were talking about something that's quite interesting, about the fact that you kind of know the arts are there, but you don't really pay attention to them. And it's kind of like, I wonder what, knowing that they're there, what does that give you? So, for example, if you were to take them away, you're not necessarily changing your daily experience, according to what you said. But what would change? How would that look different?
I think very different, actually. Even if I don't notice they're there, when I do notice them, or now that I'm thinking about it, where it does, what it does add to my life, Yeah, because right now what's coming up is like the metaphor I had is like eating an ice cream without taste. And art are the different flavors and textures and colors. So then now it's like turning into art becomes just my sensory experience. It's the layer. I mean, now I'm like, I can't even extract art from anything. Yeah, I think without art, okay, this is how I would think about it. Maybe more coming from a designer's point of view, where without art, it's just function. It's functional, it's practical, things work. And the layer of art adds in character, personality, quality traits, more like emotional relationships, to objects. Yeah, that's how that question lands for me.
Cool. The next one is kind of the opposite of that. And it's kind of what you've been talking about is that sense of knowing the arts are there, but not necessarily experiencing them, And somehow not experiencing the arts, are you still experiencing them? Like just because you understand that they're there, you're just not somehow connecting to them. And if connecting, like not even connecting them with them on the level of knowing that they were there. It's kind of similar to the pre-question, but it has more to do with how you interact with them. Like something that you would really gain or lose if you were to separate more or engage more.
I'm thinking about when I am engaging with a piece of art. So whether it's a painting and when I say engage, I think maybe I'm like thinking about if I were to fully focus and be present in that experience of experiencing that art piece, whether it's a dance performance or and I think there's a piece of that's interesting. I think my experience of engaging with a piece of art, the word that comes up right now is conversation. It's it's conversation around existential questions, actually, for me. So and right now, I mean, one example is like, oh, there, you see that drawing? So that's what I'm staring at right now. So it's like some stairs that leads up to a door. So that's what I'm staring at right now. And I'm sort of like using that as a way of just like grounding myself to a concrete example. So when I look at that, and if that were, so that's in my surrounding all the time, but I don't notice it. And I think if I were to me, art, whether it's a piece of poem or a performance or something like this on the wall, I think to me, when I experience it as art, I experience it as something symbolic. So it's a symbolic message. And when I engage with it, what happens is I allow it to send a message to me. And it's more like, what is that message that this is telling me? And right now, maybe it's like, one step forward, one step at a time. Everything leads to something. And it's usually a message about how to live life. Or like, some fact about life or some wisdom about life. And it's a graphical symbol or a symbol in a movement. And it's a conversation between the message and me. So there's a period of engagement where it's, how do I allow the piece of art to move me? And and the focus of that attention, creates the space for that conversation to take place of how does this speak to me? And it gives me a moment of pause around that particular topic that art piece brings up for me.
Okay, yeah, I see how you're looking at it. It's interesting. So essentially, kind of the picture that you're kind of describing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're aware that there are all these pieces of art around you that have potential symbolic messages, but they're not available for you to really get what the message is unless you sort of engage conversation with them.
In a focused space, attention-wise. Yeah.
Okay. So essentially, there's something about the awareness that is giving you something. When you focus, you
Yeah.
get the message. So it's really actually the last question, which is, what do you think an artful life looks like?
This feels really cheesy. Everything is art, and we are all art. And it's mainly and I'm very spiritual, so it's really related to me, and like art and spirit is very connected to me. Of like and I have to thank you for your reflection of what I said, because that helps me answer this question of like an artful life is treating every moment, every interaction, whether it's with an object or with a person, a symbolic one, of that's an opportunity for learning, an opportunity for reflection, and an opportunity for recognition of the beauty inherent. Like, to me, if art is beauty, that that everything has a quality of beauty and symbolic meaning, if we choose to view it as that. And that layer is there and available all the time. And if we choose to focus our attention on it, we have access to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So I don't have any more questions for you.
Nice.
I'm so glad we got to talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's an Artful Life will return next week with another interview. Thanks for listening.